What is going on, guys? Tim Roswick here, and I am back after a long time period, what feels like forever ago. If you've been watching every video on the channel and you've been keeping up with everything, you'll know the last 5 videos of mine were scheduled because of the whole hurricane here. And it was actually a pretty surreal experience. Just like a couple of days before everything, the gas stations were running out of gas. Food stores were out of food. It like people were panicking. Everybody's boarding up their windows. So like Lowe's and Home Depot, whenever we ran out of wood, a couple times we had to go to a bunch of different stores to like find that stuff. We spent a day or two prepping everything up, and we literally had to put like boards on the windows and everything. I had to move like this is obviously a window. I had to move all the books and everything. In our area, there was supposed to be 8 to 10 feet of storm surge, and what that is basically the ocean was supposed to rise 8 to 10 feet at the shore, so water was literally supposed to come in 8 to 10 feet higher, and like we live 10, 15 miles from the coast, so well, where I'm at now. So it was kind of scary. Everything was ridiculous. But I noticed there was two types of neighbors um, around this area. There's the ones that were preparing and removing everything out of their yard and going overboard and nailing stuff down. One guy down the street he actually knocked down his entire wooden picket fence because he knew that when the wind came, it was going to blow every single one of those and turn them into projectiles. And then we have the neighbors that like put a bunch of shit behind their garage or like tried to hide their stuff. We had people that left their trash cans out and everything. And we lucked out. We really lucked out because where I'm at, I'm about 45 minutes south of Tampa, Florida. And all of the projections were saying that a category 4 was going to go directly over the top of us. And a category 5 can literally blow away buildings. It can literally just blow them away. The island of Barbuda that Hurricane Irma hit, 95% of the buildings got leveled on that island. And that same hurricane was headed straight for us. What ended up happening is rather than category 4, which was the size that hit Texas, which, that's a whole disaster in its own. Instead of a category 4, it hit landfall. It immediately downgraded. By the time it hit us, it was either a category 1 or 2, and it went inland, so it completely went around where we were at, and we only got hit with the side of us. Not to say it wasn't pretty crazy. I mean, the wind was ridiculous. But I noticed the neighbors, the ones that did not prepare, they had a lot of damage. They had stuff all over their yard. I saw some windows broken. Like the things in their yard, like even like garden gnomes or like even white picket fences or things like that, those turn into projectiles with high speed winds. And I couldn't help but notice, like, not only that, but the people that didn't prepare were actually putting everyone in danger because it's not like those projectiles are just going to sit in their yard and mess their house up. They're going to mess everybody's house up. And so I noticed, like, how does this apply to the channel, right? Well, we all have situations in our lives where we have the option to prepare or not prepare. We lucked out, but I was prepared for the worst. I had, like, all of my computer, all of my electronics were in plastic bags up super high on shelves. Like, I was ready for a flood. I was ready for all kinds of stuff. Like, I had a bag with like dog food and a bunch of stuff ready to just go. I had like books on how to survive without power or without like the apocalypse. Like I was ready, and we didn't get hit nearly that bad. And I noticed that, like, for me, like especially like as an introvert, I talked about this in an introvert video, but it was kind of crazy because how I kind of took that step into extroversion, into meeting clients, into talking to people and working on my social skills was actually to be prepared, was actually to like do research ahead of time. Like if I was meeting someone somewhere that I wasn't comfortable with, I would go to the place ahead of time and I would like learn where the place was, where the parking was. I would have my notes prepared. I would have like bullet list of what to say. And a lot of people, they think like that's overkill, right? Like what, you can't just meet someone somewhere. Like you got to go to the place first. You got to like visit the place first. Like what's wrong with you? But that gave me a sense of personal power in those social situations. And I do a lot of the same thing with how I have my computer set up. I have Photoshop set up a certain way. I have my Windows set up in a certain way. I have my workload. I even have Construct 2 set up with the Windows and the way the frame's set up in a certain way. I prepare for the things that I do, and it saves me a lot of time. It saves me a lot of headache. Every time there's been countless times in my life where I have to do repetitive work, and a lot of people just will do the repetitive work. They'll just sit there and do the same thing over and over again, whatever they got to do. But I was always the guy to write programs to do the repetitive work. Like every time you have to do the same thing more than once, you can write a program to do it, whatever it is. And I feel like a lot of people don't prepare for stuff. Like, not just for hurricanes, which I was really surprised based on what was supposed to hit us, how little people actually prepared. We were out of power for I've been out of power for right around 52 hours, which felt like months, man. That was crazy. You don't realize how much how much you use power for, like to charge your devices, to look at things. When I was laying in the dark, it was pitch black. It's been a long time since I've been in a pitch black room where when you open your eyes, it's like the same brightness as when your eyes are closed. It's ridiculous. Anyway, a lot of people don't really prepare for stuff, especially like going into something. I know a lot of people when they start projects, they like to just dive right in and learn stuff and just get in there, and they don't really prepare for what they're about to do. They don't set up their work structures. They don't have, they don't worry about which keyboard and layout they have, or the chair, the ergonomic chair that supports their back, or the monitors that are the right brightness for their light, or the lighting in their room. Like they don't prepare to get shit done. They don't prepare their workspace or their programs or any of that stuff. And a little bit of preparation can go a long way. It could save you a lot of time. And it can actually help you be more effective, not just, more efficient with your time, but more effective at what you do. Like for me, that was one of the main things that got my introvert self through all of those social situations. And it's one of the main reasons why I'm able to land the clients that I'm able to land for freelance stuff. It's why I can do excuse me. I still haven't got rid of this cough, man. It's crazy. I can do the things that I do because I prepare for stuff. And I know this is a little vague, but I'm keeping it vague intentionally because whatever you do, whether it's art or programming or yard work or hurricane prep, like, whatever it is, you can prepare for stuff. There's something that you can do ahead of time to make your life easier when that situation comes around. And a lot of us we're creatures of instant gratification, right? We like to do the thing and get the gratification. We like the gratification now. Sometimes we like the gratification before we do the work. I mean, that's why the credit card industry is so big, right? Like we like to spend the money and then do the work rather than the other way around. That's why so many people are in debt. And just a little bit of preparation, just working on whatever it is, setting up properly, preparing for what's about to come. If you're going to work 8 hours on your game, or you're going to work the next 2 weeks, or, if you think you're going to work on your game every single day, you got to prepare for that. You got to set up your systems and structures and actual physical location and prepare for that work time. Otherwise, other things are going to take priority. Things can happen. Like you'll have another excuse. So I always prepare as much as I can. And sometimes I over prepare. I know that's a problem too. I know a lot of people that in their mind, they prepare for stuff, but what they're really doing is procrastinating, just reading and just never starting. So don't do that. But I'm always prepared. I'm one of those guys that's probably a little bit over prepared for everything, but again, like it has served me so well in the things that I do. It's really helped me out in life. And my message to you would be to think about some things you can do ahead of time to prepare for the things that you want to do. Whether you want to build a game, whether it's you want to start a startup, you want to create a company, you want to build a team. You know, like going into a team interaction and pitching your game to somebody that you want to join your team without being prepared is insane to me. Some people do it. Some people are good at it, but I never was, so I had to take the preparation. But just think about how you can prepare for the stuff that you do. Now that I'm back, we're gonna have some fun video topics lined up. But leave me a comment on what you think about preparation. Do you prepare? What do you prepare? How do you prepare for some of the stuff that you do? But until tomorrow, I'm Tim Roswick, and I'll see you guys next time.